I know you wrote an article about this, and you look at it, it's really interesting. Top three position battles. You go number 3, linebacker depth. Number 2, defensive tackle rotation. And number 1, wide receiver depth. We've always talked about how good of a roster is. Take us through those, and they're very interesting to see how those will play out, I think, as well.
They are. It takes on, the roster battles take on a different view, Dave, because the starters are pretty much entrenched in this roster, right? So your roster battles are more for impactful roles. Can I carve out a role for myself? Can I, improve my placement on the depth chart, or just make the roster? So with linebackers, though, it's interesting because you've got your Hicks and your JOK, which is great, and you're going to be, 2 linebackers on the field most of the time. But when you are in base for the little bit that you are, who is going to be that guy? I think they want it to be Nathaniel Watson or Bookie Watson, and they brought in Devin, Bush, and then they brought in, or they have Diabate and Tony Fields in his 4th year, which was shocking to me that it's been 4 years already for him. But so you've got those guys there, but a lot of unproven after the first 2, right? So you really need somebody to take a step forward. And if somebody didn't, I wouldn't be surprised if we see them go outside or off the roster later in the process if they don't feel like somebody steps up in that role.
Yeah, and defensive tackles, I think they've upgraded that. They were significantly better last year than in previous years. I think they've upgraded it with Hall and Jefferson, I think, pretty significantly again.
Yeah, so they have a wealth of talent there, right? I think they have to probably keep 5 unless they deal with an injury, which will probably leave Siaki Ika, a guy they just drafted. And I mean, right now it would be Siaki Ika and even a 7th-round draft pick like Juwan Briggs this year on the outside looking in, right? So that battle there for rotational snaps between the 5 guys that are going to be on the 53 should be very interesting. How much can Mike Hall carve out for himself as far as snaps goes?
Yeah, and wide receiver depth, you need 1 or 2 of those guys to kind of take a step up even.
So this is fun. The wide receiver depth is fun. I like what they have there as far as depth. You've got Thrash, Bell, Tillman is the guy that you kind of really hope takes a step forward, but Thrash is exciting. And now Mike Wood's back in the mix, who I, was always kind of a fan of. He looks like he's put on some upper body strength and looks good out there from what you can see. So you've got like 4 guys really vying for 2 spots there, right? That will contribute. What can they do on special teams will, of course, be a factor. But really, that 4th receiver role, that player is gonna get legitimate snaps. And who is that gonna be? Who can step up, take that, understand the choice routes, make the same reads as the quarterback? That'll all be impactful stuff. They hope it's Tillman. It could be Thrash. Thrash is exciting. So they're in a good spot there where they have a bunch of young wide receivers that could potentially be a part of this thing moving forward with a little bit of a role to contribute.
Yeah, the thing is, there's an opportunity there. Let's see who takes advantage of it.